What's up, Leaf Nation? Welcome to Molson Canadian Leafs Game Day. She's Danielle Emmanuel. I'm Scott Willis. We'll get to Henny and Bob in just a second. But great news for every one of us that bleeds blue as the bye week finally comes to an end and Leaf hockey finally returns to the ACC. Now, it looks like our boys had a pretty good time. If you follow Downtown Connor Brown's Instagram account, you'll notice that he took a picture with Matt Martin, Mitch Marner, Josh Levo, Nazem Kadri on the beautiful beach of Cancun at the plush resort of Nizuc celebrating his birthday. That's a pretty good way to celebrate your birthday. So, enough of that because it's back to business and the boys are really they're in tune for a big run here, I'm feeling. And there was one really nice little touch that happened at the MasterCard Center as they practiced yesterday, and that was Johnny Bower's quote that says, "It's a privilege, not a right." Just a quick little reminder to these guys that they're living the dreams playing in the show. Yeah, and they spend so much time at the MasterCard Center, so to have a subtle reminder like that every single day, especially given the fact that we are on the second half of the season here, really the pressure is on for the Maple Leafs. Yes, they're in a cushiony spot, third in the Atlantic. They have about a 10-point cushion up on the next team behind them, but they dropped 5 of their last 7 games heading into the bye week. Their last regulation win didn't come since December 28th, so you really want to see them push it to the next level. And what do they have left in the tank, given the fact that playoffs are right around the corner? I know that sounds strange to say playoffs, but it really is going to approach very quickly. Now, a couple news and notes for the Maple Leafs. Yes, they were at practice yesterday. Freddie the Goat as well as Travis Dermott, they were loaned down to the Toronto Marlies, playing 2 games in Charlotte for the weekend. And yes, Dermott did say that he was a little bit jealous.
We were too.
Yes, everybody was. But he said the one plus that they have on their side is that they won't have to shake off any rust, and that should help to give them an edge, because I have a feeling they will get in the lineup tonight against St. Louis. One thing to note about Dermott, when he made his debut for the Maple Leafs, he was wearing number 3. Everyone was giving it a bit of a buzz, the fact that it was reminiscent of Dion Phaneuf, an older era of this hockey club. But when he showed up to practice, a new jersey was hanging in his stall, rocking number 23, and there was no explanation. This is why I love Leaf Nation, because nobody in Leaf Nation is going to be like, oh yeah, I guess he's just 23 now. Now everybody, the conspiracy theories are out, so people are saying to themselves, who else wears number 3? So I'll leave that for the Twitter sphere out there. But the one thing is certain is that these boys are primed for a run, which I said a little bit earlier. And I really think the best matchup would be the St. Louis Blues to start off. A team that's one of the best teams in the NHL. They dominated against us at the tail end of that Western Coast road trip. So, you know what? They should have their feet under them. They got to start on time. That's the #1 thing, the trendy word in Leaf land. So the St. Louis Blues are a perfect test, especially right here back home. All right, for more on tonight's matchup, let's send it ringside with Paul Hendrick and Bob McGill.
Well, Scott and Danielle, thanks very much. And Bob, the Leafs 13-6-1 on home ice. Here we go, headed to the All-Star break. 6 games over the course of the next 10 days, and they're coming off a 5-day break. Very important stretch for them, but the guys seem reset, refocused, and ready to go.
Yeah, you're right, Paul. I think they're excited. You know, they know that in the past 10 games, they're a 500 hockey club at 4-4-2, and I think it's something where they need to, take their game up a notch, and I think they know that themselves. And you see in practice yesterday and again here this morning, they got some spirit going, they got some fresh legs, and I think their minds are all sort of set of keying back in here because they know it's a hugely important stretch, and it starts with a tough game here tonight against a very strong St. Louis Blues team.
Well, it's a stretch that involves 37 more games, 20 to be played here at the Air Canada Centre over the course of a very comfortable pace of 82 days. It's go time, according to Austin Matthews.
It definitely presents a challenge, but we're pretty, big, strong, heavy team as well. So, we want to make sure we out-battle them, getting under at their neck, because they obviously got a good goalie. They got a, all-around really good team, a lot of depth. So, definitely a challenge tonight.
It's interesting when I get prepared for St. Louis. The first thing I think about Tarasenko, and I look at his goals. He's got 19, but Schen's got 17. Well, James Van Riesdyk got 19. It's a hard league each and every year. So I think both players are substantially better when you look at what they are right now here today. I think both of them have had their moments this year. I thought Mitch started slow and really got going. I think Willie's had real good stretches and not as good stretches. But I think if you go through all of them like that, I think it's the same thing. I think if you look at Austin, and he's in that group too, is I think it's hard when you're injured 6 games and you come back and then you're injured 4 games and then you get a break. I think it's hard to have the kind of rhythm. When things are going good, you're feeling good and you're playing every day or every second day and you feel good about your game. So part of it's them and part of it's the competition. The competition didn't even know who they were last year, and if you remember, you didn't know who we were either last year. So now you're just starting to take us seriously yourselves, so are the other teams.
Here's tonight's projected lineup. Matt Martin had himself a 3-assist game in St. Louis back on November 4th, playing on a fourth line back then with Mitch Marner and Tyler Bozak. Martin skates with Gauthier and Brown here tonight for the 5th consecutive game. Travis Dermott is back from the Toronto Marlies like Frederick Gauthier, and he'll skate alongside Roman Polak here tonight. Andreas Borgman, Josh Levo, and Dominic Moore are all healthy scratches. Frederick Anderson starts for Toronto this evening. He has won 2 of his last 4 starts and is in pursuit of his 23rd win of the season here tonight. Jake Allen has lost his last 4 starts, while Carter Hutton has gone 3-0-1 in his. So Hutton will get the call here tonight. 2-0 for his career head-to-head against the Maple Leafs. Game time on TSN4 tonight, 7 o'clock. Joe and Jim will have the call on radio and Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Our coverage here on Leafs Nation Network will begin with Molson Canadian Leafs Game Day at 6 o'clock. Bob McGill, and I will see you then.